Yeah, Schnackamagob, we should be live.
Why do you
We're
sound so
good.
far away, by the way?
Huh?
You sound really far away.
He sounds
How's it
okay.
going now?
Sounds okay? I don't know. To me, it sounds like
Yeah,
really far away.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
got,
he's got some natural reverb in the room there.
I guess. All right, whatever.
I think you have hearing aids, Wayne.
Oh, I might. Let me see. Yeah, yep.
Hey,
That's what it is. There's AIDS
that's
in
what
there.
it is. You've got hearing aids.
Yep. All right, my
All
ears
Hearing
are
right.
all full of blood.
aids.
Hey, Schmackamagob, everybody. It's another exciting Almost Human Live. And this time we're going to talk about Deep Purple because our 7-inch show is being pushed back a little bit.
The 7 inch is being pushed back. That's what she said.
I brought out my smoke on the water 7-inch.
Oh,
That's
well,
awesome.
there you go with the Warner
Oh, cool.
Brothers logo. The
I
palm.
Yeah,
got this one too.
I have that one.
Black
I
Knight
have that.
Speed
Yeah,
King.
I have that one somewhere. Yep. Yep. That's a good one.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
that's my favorite right there. Oh, blue vinyl, nice.
Yeah, that was like a record store day thing, I think about 10 years ago, I think is what it was. It got reissued.
Yeah, yeah.
I missed out on that one, but yeah, we're here to talk Deep Purple. Wayne, you're not
I'm
really
not. I'm not here to talk about anything.
you're not
He's
familiar with Deep Purple, right?
I am familiar with them, but I'm not that familiar
No,
with the albums to talk about anything of
but
them.
you know a lot of the songs.
No, I I know Smoke on the Water.
What about all the ones
That's
Halloween
about it.
covered?
What did Hello? Oh, they did recover one, right? I think so.
did
I
they
don't know.
cover
Yeah.
Burn? No, I can't remember
No.
Halloween covering any Halloween.
I was joking, but
No, I
I
think
don't
they
know.
did though. I think
Maybe
they
they
did.
did.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
look
they
that up.
probably did.
Metal Church doing Highway Star. You know that one?
Oh yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that one. Faith No More covered that one actually.
Faith No
Uh,
More covered Highway Star.
yeah, yep. It was a
Wow.
live version. Rat
The
Bat Blue.
drummer,
They covered.
that drummer from Faith No More is an asshole.
I know. I heard that. That's what I heard.
Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah.
Yeah, Halloween did Rat
Yeah.
Bat Blue.
Oh,
Ah, yeah.
yeah.
Good cover, man. Yeah, it was a local band here, Demon Eye. They used to do that as well. Actually, their side project was a cover band. They used to play that one. I thought that was an odd one to throw out, but yes, that's a good song.
Rat Bat
Sure.
Blue is a badass song.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I
did a
did
pretty
a
good job.
review. I did a review not too long ago on this channel about Who Do You Think We Are? Because I think that album is so overlooked. And I think the only complaint about that album is front loading. Like the last songs were kind of like whatever, but man, Rat Bat Blue, Mary Long,
Yeah,
God,
you're absolutely right. It's all front loaded. That's for sure for that one. Um, how did you get into Deep Purple, Ralph? Count Ralph. Oh, we'll do Ralph, the host, and then
let's,
do Count
let's
Ralph.
go with Count Ralphus first.
uh yeah, I mean I heard Smoke on the Water as a little kid, and when I got into like Columbia House, I was like going through like Circus magazines, Hit Parader and stuff, and pretty much grabbing like everything that was in those magazines. So my first album I ever got on vinyl was Machine Head, where I don't know what I did with it now. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I got Machine Head when I was, this was definitely the first thing I got. It's one of my favorite albums, but In Rock is like the one that really blew me away. But the old original gatefold here.
That's
But yeah,
Yeah.
and like when I remember really wanting to go see Perfect Strangers tour when Richie Blackmore came back, and I already had Born Again. I was big into that album, so I really wanted to go to that. I couldn't get a ride. None of my friends seemed to go to that show, and it turned out to be like the last time I could have really ever seen Richie Blackmore playing that kind of stuff. I always regretted that I never got a chance to see him do it. But then years later, come around. They came back with years later with Dios and the Scorpions, and
Yeah, I think it was
that was an
02.
amazing show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my first time seeing them. I got a bootleg CD of that show, But yeah, and then I seen him like probably 5 more times after that. Just seen him again recently last summer with Yes, they played the original Woodstock site. I seen him up there at Bethel Woods, the original Woodstock site 3 times up there. One time they did the concerto thing where they had the big orchestra behind them. There's a shirt for that one, but and then
Is that
I a
drumhead
couple
all
of
signed by the band?
yeah, this one was a cool night. I have a friend that works at a local casino, and they got a nice big room in there, and they had Cheap Trick play there, but Deep Purple is one of the only other bands. They usually have like comedians and stuff. But anyway, I got a friend that works there, and I asked him if he could get any free tickets. So he ended up meeting us at when we got to the show, and we got in for free. Ended up in like 5th row seats, and it was amazing. And they were selling these for $60.
Wow.
It was like, get a shirt for that price now,
Yeah. Yeah.
So since I saved the money on getting in for free, I ended up buying this, and it's got Ian Pace, Don Airy, Gillen, Steve Morris, and Roger Glover.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's
$60
awesome.
well spent.
That's well spent. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if you were to meet one of them alone at a convention, it would be $100 probably.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not that they do those, but
Yeah.
That's cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
I'll tell you, we'll push it to Tony. I just want to say a little Deep Purple story. The first album was released the week I was born. 3 days after I was born, right? And when they were taking me home, I begged them to take me to the record store, right?
you started crying. You started crying when you were
crying. Finish that story for me, Ralph. What happened to me that day?
you got dropped on your head because you're a little bit older than that. It would have been like 1961 or something. That album would have had to come out.
It is a album, by the way.
Yeah, the first album. Yeah.
No, but go ahead, Tony. I just want to give that little tidbit.
Oh, like how I got into them.
Yeah,
I got just being a teenager, getting into heavy metal. I buying the magazines and stuff, and you'd see Deep Purple pop up in. I remember Cream magazine had this heavy metal issue. I think it was around about like 82 or so. And it was just all like almost an encyclopedia of bands. And I remember them being bands in there that wasn't even heavy metal, like REO Speedwagon and stuff like that. But of course, Deep Purple was in it. And I knew I got into Born Again with Ian Gillan and stuff. I was like, yeah, I got to get some Deep Purple. So I go out, and the first thing I get from Deep Purple, of course, is Deepest Purple, which I have here on 8-track. This isn't the one I bought. I had it on cassette originally. That's my Columbia House copy on 8-track. But that was a good start, because that had all the good songs on it. It's got Black Knight, Speed King, Fireball, everything. Then it's even got Burn and Stormbringer on it from the Coverdale Hughes era, which at the time I was listening to it, I had no idea that there was a different singer. I was thinking, oh, he just sounds different, And then as I started getting into stuff a little bit more, I started finding out, oh yeah, the guy from Whitesnake, he was in Deep Purple and stuff. And so I think when it really exploded for me though is when Perfect Strangers came out, man. And that one's just, it's such I remember them world premiering the video on MTV. It was such a big story about Deep Purple is reunited and they're going back out on tour and stuff. And I had already gotten into Rainbow and Dio and stuff by then, of course, too. So I knew all about Blackmore and all. And I really hadn't got into the Joe Lynn Turner Rainbow stuff that much yet. I just knew Stone Cold and stuff. I was more into the Dio, the 3 Dio records I had already gotten. But yeah, so, just Perfect Strangers. I mean, that was definitely the big wake up point for me with them. I kind of started going the next few years. I started picking up other stuff by them when I was out. And I never got a chance to see them until the same tour that you saw, Count. I saw the one in 2002 with Scorpions and Dio. Of course, by then, Steve Morris was in. And by then, I was well-versed in Deep Purple. I love Deep Purple. I had all the records and stuff. And I even when Steve Morse joined them, I was thinking, oh, you know, I wonder how that's going to be. But I'm gonna tell you, Perpendicular is a. I've got a CD in here somewhere. I brought it in. Yeah, Perpendicular. That is a really good album. I was not expecting it to be that good. I did like the Slaves and Masters record with Joe Lynn Turner, but when they got the what was it? What was the one after Perfect Strangers was House of the Blue House of Blue Light. I like that one. That's a good one, and I like the Joe Lynn Turner. By the time the Slaves and Masters came out, I had loved Rainbow, so I was all into the Joe Lynn Turner stuff as well. So I liked that record. I thought it was really good. But when the Battle Rages On came on, it was almost like it was a forced record because I know that the label wanted to go back with Gillan and stuff. So, you know, it just wasn't that good of a record to me. It's a couple of good songs on it, in my opinion. But Perpendicular, I remember I had friends that worked at CMC and they were like, you got to hear this. And it's great. It's got some really good stuff. I remember getting some bootleg videos from the tour around that period. But like I said, I didn't get to see them until 2002, and I only saw them a few times. You know, I think the last time was that when they came with Judas Priest, like Count's T-shirt that he has on there. That was what 2019, I think it was. And
Yeah.
so I didn't see him a whole lot. I did see Richie Blackmore a couple of times. I saw Rainbow in around 97 when they had The Stranger and All of Us out with Doogie White. They did a club show up at Jack's. I saw him on that show. And then I did see Blackmore's Night. They played in Raleigh and I went to see him. So I have seen Richie Blackmore a couple of times. But I'm a big Blackmore fan, so that was cool. But yeah,
That Blackmore's Night it just came through my area, Blackmore's Night, and I was thinking I should go and just scream out "Gates of Babylon" in between every song, or
man, let me tell you,
start screaming.
when I saw them, they were in this opera house, and he does break out the Stratocaster, and they do a little bit of electric stuff. It's not all acoustic and you know Renaissance instruments and everything. And people were shouting out stuff, and he was like, he started playing like the opening notes to Black Knight, and everybody would go nuts, and he'd be like, "Psych." not gonna do that. But they did that night that I saw them, they did a version of Street of Dreams and a version of Soldier of Fortune. And it was good. I enjoyed it. I you know, when that first record came out, I thought it was pretty cool. I remember I was listening to that first Blackmore's Night record coming home from someplace one night, and I was driving and I was listening to it, and I had a couple friends with me, and it was a guy and his wife were in the back seat, and I heard the wife whisper to her husband. She says, "What the hell is Dio listening to?" He goes, "I don't know, but it's driving me crazy." Yeah, it's not for everybody, that's for sure. But I thought it was cool for what it was. Yeah.
Right on. I'm the old guy, so I got into them in the 70s. And I don't remember. I think it was Deepest Purple, my first purchase, but I do remember my friend, still my buddy, Ladio, had Made in Japan. And we used to play that a lot in his room. I just loved the fuck out of it. That to me is the definitive version of Smoke on the Water, is the Made in Japan version. Fucking awesome. Yeah.
I that somewhere here. Yeah. Oh,
So,
Made in Japan.
So then I got into, Rainbow, but I got into Difficult to Cure. And I didn't know about Dio's Rainbow at all till they had a question to win tickets to go see Black Sabbath on the Heaven and Hell tour. What band was Dio in before Black Sabbath? And I was like, oh shit, I don't know that. And then they said Rainbow. I was like, Rainbow? You mean like fucking Blackmore's Rainbow? But anyway, and then I got Deepest Purple. I do remember owning In Rock. That one, like it was right around the last, before CDs took over. That was one of the last vinyls I bought at that time when it was available. And it's still my favorite. In Rock is my favorite. But
What an album! What an album cover, man! I
Yeah.
mean, it's like I mean, it's called In Rock, and there's the guys in Rock, you know, like Mount Rushmore. There's a German version that's got a white cover instead of the blue cover.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
that is my favorite fucking Purple album. But I'll go through them real quick. This is the first one. This one's cool. This one has I like their mellow version of Help, which has really John Lennon wanted it that way. And the Address. I think the first one. This is the second one, Book of Talents. It's even better. Hard Learn, Read On, The Shield, Run Deep, Mountain High, Anthem. Good shit, but it's still very different than the Deep Purple they became.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Here's House of Blue Light. This one disappointed me. I love Bad Attitude. I think that's all.
Yeah.
But I think the rest was kind of like anticlimactic. This is the one that I reviewed not too long ago. I feel is their most underrated. Is Who Do You Think We Are? Amazing.
Yeah, good album.
Stormbringer. I love this album. This album is what made Richie Blackmore run away from Deep Purple because he said this was too funky for him.
He called it shoeshine music.
Yeah. He's very politically correct.
Yeah.
No. I take back with what I said about Who Do You Think We Are. This is the most underrated Deep Purple album.
Yes, it is.
This album, the reason it's so underrated because it doesn't have Blackmore, and it's like fuck them, fuck that. Dude, this album rocks. It's killer, man. I absolutely love this. Lady Luck, Coming Home, you know, Drifter. Awesome stuff. This one's actually, this is my first Deep Purple album, and this is a copy of it. I don't know if you can tell. Fucking tore up it is. This was a hand-me-down from my brother in the 70s. Now I remember this was my first Deep Purple album, and it's shreddy, you know, but it still plays fine, and I love the title track, Fireball, Proto Thrash, or whatever you want to call it. Demon's Eye fucking rules. Now, some versions doesn't have Demon's Eyes. It has a Strange Kind of Woman. This is the version with Demon's Eye. I love Demon's Eye. And then the second side were like more long, kind of proggy, still killer, you know. Anyone's Daughter is like a cheeseball song, but I love what Blackmore does on that song. It's a stupid, silly song, and he's playing so emotionally beautiful. Like if it was an emotional, beautiful song. Blackmore is number 3 in my list. It's Eddie Van Halen, Randy Rhoads, Richie Blackmore. My top 3.
Yeah, he's in my top 5 for sure.
This is my favorite album of last year. Their last album. This is their best album. And Tony, you didn't like it, man, but I love.
No, I loved it. Yeah, I told you that was it.
No, I'm talking about I loved Battle Rages On.
Oh yeah.
I think this is the best album since Battle Rages On.
Okay.
But oh my God, this whole album rips. The new guitar player they got fits so good. He's kind of doing the Richie Blackmore, and I saw Deep Purple with Yes. I believe it was the first show of the tour down here, and the dude, what's his name again? The new guitar player in Deep Purple?
Simon McBride.
Simon McBride did a guitar solo. I wouldn't believe what he threw out in the middle of the guitar solo. He started playing End of the World from Gary Moore.
Gary Moore. Wow. Crazy.
He did that solo, how Gary starts that song. He did that. I was like, holy shit, he's doing End of the World. Anyway, I highly recommend this album. It's called -1, right? Fucking beautiful. And I got
equals 1.
Equal 1. Everybody says that because the Godzilla movie.
Yeah. Equals 1. Yeah, it's a good record, man. It really is. It's
their best album cover. That album cover is incredible.
Yeah, they ripped the Beatles.
Yeah, I thought it was a polar bear in a snowstorm.
But and I got to say something else. Who produced this album and their past 2-3 albums that are really, really good is Bob Ezrin.
Yeah.
Bob Ezrin and Deep Purple work great together. Why can't Bob Ezrin and Alice Cooper work good together now? Because I think that he's done with Alice are fucking terrible. Yet he's doing great albums with Deep Purple.
They're lackluster. They're just just not. Yeah, this was a good one they did with him.
Yeah, with Vincent Price. I love that song.
Yeah. Now what? Yeah, they definitely cut back. They put more money in production and definitely less on album cover art. In the last few. Yeah,
totally. Burn contains my all-time favorite Deep Purple song is Burn.
Yeah.
That riff, everything about that song is, and I got into that song because of Deepest Purple, you know? And wow, this album rules. I love Mistreated, Lay Down, Stay Down, Might Just Take Your Life. I love this is probably my second favorite lineup of Deep Purple because I have a fondness for Mach 2. I just feel like that's the best. But I love Coverdale and Hughes. Of course, their most popular album, Machine Head. But man, is there a bad song on this album? There's none to be found. You got fucking. What's really weird is that they released Never Before as a single to this album when it was brand new. And it's like, the song's good, but come on. People know Space Truck and Highway Star, Smoke on the Water, and a lot would know Lazy as well, you know?
Pictures of Home is my favorite track on it.
Which one?
Pictures of Home.
That's my favorite song on it, too. Yeah,
it's great.
Maybe I'm a little beyond classic. I believe their most popular album, their best album in rock. What can I say, man? The scream he does on Bloodsucker, you know, and the high pitches in Child in Time where he hits the stratosphere. Unbelievable stuff. There's a weird one, Deep Purple in concert. This was during the Machine Head tour. It's not a bootleg. It was released by Portrait Records.
That's one of the early records I got. I had it on cassette. It was 2 cassettes. You could get them out of the cutout bin for like $2 a piece, and I ended up having that like years ago. I have it on CD now. Yeah, that's a good live album.
Yeah, it is. The Reunion is a very strong album. I don't think it's all. I think there's filler on it, but I love Nobody's Home. A Gypsy's Kiss, my favorite on here. That song rips. Of course, the title track, I think Wasted Sunset is an awesome ballad. Knocking on Your Back Door. But then, you know, I think Under the Gun, Mean Streak, and Hungry Days are like, But the rest is pretty strong. So, and this was the only time I ever saw it. Is it in here? Did I put it in here? No. I have a newspaper article of this show. It was the only time I saw Deep Purple with Richie Blackmore. Because every time they came down after this, it was with Steve Morse. But yeah, I got to see this tour. And an odd opener that kicked ass, Girls School, was the opening act. All right, this my friend had, and we would wear the fuck out of it. Martin Popoff hates this shit because it's too jammy, you know? But I loved it. You know, when I was a kid in the 70s, you know, these fucking 20-minute, what's Space Trucking like? Fucking Space Trucking is the whole side.
Whole side of the album.
Yeah. But it's classic. I love it. And this one, man, I'm telling you, I love this song a lot. Man, the song Ramshackle Man, one of my favorite Deep Purple songs ever. I love the title track. Anya, I think, is really good. Nasty Piece of Work, Solitude. I really love this album.
You know, I need to go back and listen to it. I haven't listened to it in years. You know, and I've also heard that there's demos out there with Joe Lynn Turner because they started recording that with him, and then the label's like, no, you got to get Ian Gillan back. You know, that's what drove the main wedge between them and Blackmore again. If you watch that concert from that tour, they opened up. Yeah, they open up with Highway Star, and he's not on stage. And then he comes out right before the solo, and he throws a cup of water, and Gillen points at him, and he just goes into the solo. And a friend of mine asked him about that one time. He was my friend that worked at Sanctuary and stuff, was out hanging out with them because they had done some records with him. And he said he asked him about that, and Roger Glover said he threw that water at my wife.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah, crazy.
And there is an interview on YouTube with Richie Blackmore, and he said, "No way, I want to play Ian Gillan. He can't sing no more. He's horrible. He's got a bad voice." And who was it that released the Battle Rages on CMC maybe?
Oh,
So,
BMG put that one out. Yeah.
Yeah, and Blackmore said, I said to them, look, I'll do it for this amount of money. And he threw out this exaggerated amount so he'll know they said no. And they said yes. And
Yeah.
Damn. So he was kind of like, he didn't want to do it, but he said, fuck it, I'll do it for whatever he asked for, This is a weird one. This is the Best of Deep Purple, which only features songs from the first 3 albums with Rod Evans and Nick Simpler. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Deep Purple was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with Rod Evans, but not Nick Simpler.
Yeah.
All right. And here's my CD going through them fast. Like I said, I had this on vinyl. This is what got me into Deep Purple. Deepest Purple. This is really good. This is from Japan. This one's called Live and Rare. But there's some studio tracks on here that are fucking awesome. A song called Painted Horses.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Cry Free. You ever heard Cry Free?
That one's, it's on one of my compilations that I got. Yeah.
It's a ripping track. And these are unreleased tracks and a really great live version of Hush with Ian Gillan. This is back in the 70s. Ring That Neck, When a Blind Man Cries. I'm Alone is another cool studio track. All right. This one ain't that great. This is from Nebworth, 1985. Believe it was a Perfect Strangers tour, and it was a little sloppy. I was a little bit.
Yeah, Gillan was having problems with his voice out on that tour.
Yeah.
He had a cold.
Yeah, I can't get into
because he blew it out doing Born Again. Born Again killed his voice.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah. Even when I saw the Perfect Strangers tour, they played Child in Time, and man, Gillan was struggling. He was struggling. Where if it was that voice on the Born Again tour, which I also saw, he would have done Child in Time with ease, because those high notes he was doing with Sabbath, like in Disturbing the Priest and shit,
yeah,
he could have nailed. He blew his voice out totally. All right, this is the one with Joe Lynn Turner. I can't really get into it. There was one song. What was the song? The Cut Runs Deep. I thought was pretty good, but this is one I gotta revisit because I haven't listened to this in decades. Probably going on 3 decades now.
I think the reason I liked it so much is that I had gotten into Joe Lynn Turner Rainbow so much. I mean, I love Been Out of Shape and Straight Between the Eyes and stuff, and that just kind of sounds like a continuation of it, really.
Oh yeah, and I agree with you about this one. Perpendicular, Ted the Mechanic. Sometimes I Feel Like Screaming is my favorite off here. What
great song. Yeah.
Great song. This is a great album. I do love it.
Yeah.
This one, I think I held it up on vinyl. I have it on CD as well. The Scandinavian Nights, isn't it? No, it just says Deep Purple in concert. This is a really cool one. This is all their singles and the B-sides, and all these B-sides that aren't on the album. One of my favorite Deep Purple songs is from the first lineup. It's a song called Emeretta. That's a B-side, and it's so heavy and killer. And then it has, Hallelujah, and I'm Alone, When a Blind Man Cries, and so on. All right, what next? Okay, there's a bootleg. I don't know if you guys ever collected these bootlegs back in the day. They were called Oh Boy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy, yeah.
They had a lot of great bootlegs.
Yeah,
And
it's a couple of Kiss ones.
this is a great one. This one's called Let's Go Space Trucking, but it's the Burn tour. And it's really good. It's a good live performance. I talked about this, or did I? Oh, yeah. It's first Deep Purple. Yeah, I did talk about it. This is the third Deep Purple album that I thought I had on vinyl, so I need to go out and buy this. This one has Chasing Shadows, which is my favorite song from the first three albums. And Bird Has Flown, April, La Lelia. I love this. I love that early Deep Purple shit. Here's another bootleg called Spirit of Freedom, which is actually Deep Purple with Joe Satriani in Japan. You know, Satriani did several shows with Deep Purple when Blackmore abruptly left. And this is one of them, and it sounds good. Actually, it's recorded in Italy, my bad. But the CD's from Japan. This one, Scandinavian Nights, is awesome. This is in rock era. Speed King, they even do the early shit like Ring That Neck. They do a cool version of Painted Black from the Stones. Mandrake Root, killer instrumental. Child in Time kills on this. This is a great live album.
Even the dog thinks so.
All right, I only got a few more to go. This one is Live in London, which is again a Burn show, and it sounds really good. What was the bootleg label on this one? Remember Neon Fet? Well, I can't even. I don't know if you can make that out, but I have several bootleg CDs with this company. All right. This one's good. You know, I'm not a fan of what Dweezil Zappa just did. You know, Dweezil Zappa just redid Machine Head.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's horrible. It's good for what it is, but the Roger Glover mix, this right here, this is I even put this above the original Machine Head. This is some good shit. And my last thing I'm going to show, this one's kind of like whatever. Nobody Perfect. The live album they did for, was it after House of Blue Light? I think it was.
Yeah, it was after House of Blue Light tour. Yeah. And they had they recut Hush for that.
Yeah, and it's really good. I like the studio version of Hush on this.
Yeah.
So in my history with Deep Purple, I only saw him once with Blackmore. I've seen him a shit ton of times with Steve Morse. A lot of times. And one of the shows I went, I believe it was the Abandon tour. They filmed it and they released it on DVD back in the day. I bought it. I forgot what the hell it was called, but yeah.
They had one called Abandon, and it was like a play on words called A Band Down Under. It was about when they went to Australia, and they called it A Band Down Under, you know, on Abandon or whatever. Play on words. They put a lot of stuff out, man. They really did.
And I have Abandon on CD. I have Bananas on CD. I have the last two. I have them all on CD, but you know, this may be, I keep saying this will be the last time you see me with this background because I'm moving everything to the other room, but I need help, man. And my buddies will help me, but they're busy. But you know, hopefully this weekend it'll be done where everything will be in my other room and it's spacious and it's badass, you know. So let's hope that happens. This weekend they're supposed to come by. And so yeah, I love Deep Purple. I love them a lot. That's why when Tony asked me, I said, let's talk Deep Purple because I love Deep Purple.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff there. I got some stuff to show too.
We'll never know.
Let's see what Wayne's got to say.
Oh, I actually do own Deep Purple CDs. I just haven't listened to them yet. It was a record shop in Pennsylvania. They had them in the used section for like $5. So I grabbed whatever they had there, and I got Now What?
Good album.
Good one.
The Book of, I can't pronounce that. What is that called?
Talisman.
Yeah.
Book of Talisman, which you may not like, Wayne.
Yeah,
that's early. That's pre Ian Gillan.
We'll find out soon enough. Machine Head.
Yeah. I love that
one. This one, what is this like a best of or something?
Oh, yeah. I remember that album back in the day. Yeah, it's a greatest hits thing.
I wasn't sure. Grabbed it anyway. The House of Blue Light.
Yeah, that one's whatever.
Infinite or Infinity.
That's a good one. Another one, Bob Ezrin.
And then the one that Tony mentioned earlier, Perpendicular.
Yep.
The Battle Rages On.
Love that album, man.
Nobody's Perfect.
Live, yep.
What is this one? Slaves and Masters.
Damn, you got a lot of goddamn Deep Purple.
I bought all the ones that they had, and then I actually bought an extra Machine Head. So if anybody wants that, let me know.
Cool.
But yeah, that's all I have so far. So I have yet to listen to them, and I will get to which one out of that pile should I listen to first?
Machine Head.
Machine Head.
Okay.
You don't have in rock, right? You didn't show.
Hey, I gotta
didn't get
grab
that
something. I'll be right back.
I have not been able to find that one. I've been trying to look for that.
That deepest purple, that deepest purple one is like a great one for someone to get into Deep Purple. Like you guys had it as one of your first albums. That's like having like We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll or something, you know?
Yeah, but Wayne has that other. What's on that other greatest hits album?
Where'd it go?
Because I never owned that one though. I'm aware of.
Space Truckin', Kentucky Woman, Hard Road, Burn, A Woman from Tokyo Live, Hush, Smoke on the Water, and Highway Star Live.
Yeah, that one's not as good as Deepest Purple.
I got this weird one. It's Purple Passages, and it's like a.
Oh yeah, I've seen that out. That's a lot of the early stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't
it's like
that
all really old.
like it doesn't
It's
have
got
like
Hush
the
and stuff.
Rod Evans period? Yeah. You know, I think it was
Yeah,
Rod Evans, the original singer, became a doctor supposedly or something like that. I heard once, but there's been all these rumors because like I think it was either him or maybe it was Nick Simpter. One of them, like in like 1976 or something, they tried to start a new Deep Purple and they booked a concert or something in California, and then the Deep Purple's management, Rod Evans, yeah, Deep Purple's management put a stop to it. Yeah. So it didn't happen. Yeah.
I remember.
Al Horter says if anyone has surround sound set up, get the Machine Head DVD audio of the Super Audio CD. The surround sound mix is incredible.
I don't have surround sound. I have the Stormbringer like that. It's got a DVD mix of Stormbringer, but I don't have surround sound. So I've got surround records and CDs. I just don't have surround sound, you know.
And Musketeer, whatever his name is here, yay or nay on Bananas?
I like Bananas. I just thought it was a stupid album.
I'm going to go through some stuff here that I got. I didn't bring everything in here, but the only Steve Morse album that I kept was Perpendicular, and then I think it was So What, because I don't know, man, I had all those and I was working at the label too when a lot of that stuff came out, but I just didn't keep any of it. It just didn't do much for me at all. But now I kind of wish I had them, and they're easy to pick up. I see them out in stores all the time. But I was just going to show a few things I got. Of course, I didn't bring everything in here. I showed the two versions of In Rock that I got. Just that white one's pretty cool. It's a German pressing, and I've got a Fireball, which is the U.S. pressing of Fireball. So it doesn't have Demon's Eye on it because it's the U.S. pressing. You can only get that on the UK version, European version. Of course, I got Machine Head. Who Do You Think We Are? Got my Burn. I love Burn. Here's one that was from the Burn tour live in London.
That's the one I got on CD.
Mm-hmm. It's on this is when you held it up. This one's on Purple Records, so I guess it did get officially released as well.
Yeah, this one is not Purple Records. I can't make out what it says.
It's probably been licensed to somebody else, probably.
It says NIMMETALMA. I don't know how to pronounce that. So it's weird, but it sounds good. It's a good show.
Of course, Stormbringer. And that's another great album cover. You know, I think Miles Davis used that on Bitches Brew as well, the same album cover basically. And they put the lyrics on the back of it. That's all of mine are pretty much US copies. Here is a Made in Europe that Glenn Hughes autographed when I saw him. And I have I
think this is what really scared me about getting into Deep Purple, because I'm a completist, you know, so I got to buy everything a band has that I listen to. and then seeing their discography, like what Ralph showed, it took a half hour just to go through, and then the little stack I got, it's a lot, you know.
Yeah.
It's like,
Hey,
Seriously,
and they
Wayne.
got a lot. They got
It's
a lot of
overwhelming.
live stuff out.
But seriously, what Wayne pulled up, you have more than half.
yeah, it's
you,
insane.
You got a good start there. Here is my "Come Taste the Band," and it's autographed from Ian Pace and Glenn Hughes. Actually, Richard sent me this because he had an extra copy of it that he had it completed. He had a completed copy, and then this one just had 2 signatures, so he sent it to me. You know, and this is a record that I just basically rediscovered because when I was getting into Deep Purple, I don't know, I shied away from this one because I had someone tell me, "Oh, you don't want to hear that one. It's like all like jazzy and blue, like R&B and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, I probably won't like it." But when I got it, I realized that this could almost be the first Whitesnake record because it's more Whitesnake than it is Deep Purple. It's in that you know, R&B blues style that early Whitesnake was in, and then of course you've got, you know, 3 guys in the band that would be in Whitesnake. So, but yeah, I have here's my Japanese copy of Perfect Strangers. So Burn is my favorite Deep Purple album. This is my second favorite Deep Purple record. I love Perfect Strangers, like everything on it. Here's a couple of singles. There's a Perfect Strangers single. The B-side is a song called Son of Arleric. That's the bonus track if you get like the Japanese copy of it or whatever. Here's Knocking at Your Back Door. I think I have a 7-inch single of this as well. We might have to dig that out when we do the 7 inches. And this has got the same song for the B-side, the Son of Arleric. Here's my House of Blue Light. It's from Japan. And of course, the Slaves and Masters, which, like I said, I really like this record. Really good record. Just not very Deep Purple. I have a few CDs here, just some of those deluxe editions that came out with all the extra stuff. Have you guys seen the one that's in the jewel case with all the signatures on it?
Yes.
Yeah, I wish I could find one of those. This was the same thing. It just didn't have the signature. The signatures are made onto the jewel case. It's pretty nice. But these are the ones that have all the songs. So like I was saying, the US versions and the European versions sometimes had a couple of different tracks. These included everything. So you get everything that was included when it came out, plus some B-sides, and they each have a Roger Glover remix of some tracks on. I got the In Rock, I got the Machine Head version, which has a slip case, and then the slip case, of course, on the Fireball as well. And I have like a bunch of other CDs from them and stuff, some of the regular stuff. This is a CD single from Perpendicular for Sometime I Feel Like Screaming. And it's autographed by Roger Glover and Steve Morse. My friend Mike Sabbath, he went to see him, and he hangs out. He's good friends with Richard too. Richard's taught him how to like get autographs and stuff, and he'll sit around all day waiting for autographs at the hotel or something. And I said, I got to send you something to get signed. So he got that signed for me. He actually he met David Coverdale once when he went to see Whitesnake. Coverdale never takes photos, and he took a photo with him. I thought it was pretty cool. One more piece I wanted to show that's pretty odd. Well, quickly, I got some 8-tracks too. I've got Come Taste the Band. This is Ralph, you were talking about that song a while ago called Cry Free. Yeah. That's on the Powerhouse. I have this on vinyl too. It's got the painted horses on it. And here's my Machine Head and my Fireball on 8-track. And this is the odd piece. This is Deep Purple related. It's not really Deep Purple, but it's like a Deep Purple record. You know, you guys remember what was it, the band in the US with Stars on Long Play and stuff, and they would like redo hit songs, and you could buy like the 45s or whatever, but it wasn't really the artist doing the song. This is that kind of started, I think, in Europe. This is called The Funky Junction Plays Tribute to Deep Purple. And it's basically, it's a band doing Deep Purple songs, but it's not Deep Purple. But the reason I have it in my collection is it's a Thin Lizzy item, because this is Phil Lynott and Brian Downey on drums and bass on this
Wow.
album. They did this before, I think it's before Vagabonds possibly came out. And it was just a paying gig. They got paid to go in and put the tracks down with, they've got a guy singing, a keyboard player, lead player on here. Yeah, it's, but they're not credited on it at all. I mean, they just nothing with their names on it. It's just kind of one of those things you got to be in to know about. But if you ever see it, the Funky Junction pays tribute to Deep Purple. Grab it because it's not really valuable, but it's just a cool piece if you're into Thin Lizzy.
Well, I would love that. That's rare, man. I never.
It got reissued. I've got it on CD as well, so it's been reissued. You can get it, but I found that one at a record show for like, I don't know, $8 or something.
Do they play the songs like Deep Purple, or do they do?
Yeah, they do. They do. It's weird. It's got a couple of original songs on here too. I don't know original, but written by somebody else. They do Fireball, Black Knight, Speed King, Strange Kind of Woman, and Hush. And then there's like 4 songs that aren't Deep Purple songs. So it's just odd, man. It's just a weird piece. You know,
well,
who knows?
Really cool, man. That's awesome. That's amazing.
I didn't see anybody pull out this one, the Philharmonic Orchestra.
Oh yeah, so that's the first thing that they did with the Mark II lineup, if I'm not mistaken.
I had that on DVD.
When they joined, when Gillan and Glover joined the band, that was
Here's
the first
the
thing they
DVD.
set out to do.
Yeah, I have that. That's a great performance.
This is 1969.
That is a cool.
Yeah,
one.
1969.
Hey, speaking of DVDs, do you guys have this? Phoenix Rising?
Yes, I love it. That documentary is
Wow. What a story. Wayne, if you can find this, it's probably on Tubi or something to watch it. Phoenix Rising, watch it. It's anybody out there watching, it's probably on Tubi or something, because there's a lot of Deep Purple stuff. This is an amazing story. This is about this would be the Mark IV lineup, basically. When Richie had left and Come Taste the Band was out, and they had Tommy Bolin. They go, where the hell did they go? It's was it Indonesia? Where the fuck did they go?
Yeah, I think it was Indonesia with the elevator shaft.
Yeah, they go over and do this tour, and it's like they're the mafia over there like cons them into playing like free shows and threatens to arrest them. They had one of their tour staff was murdered while they were there, fell down an elevator shaft, like accidentally fell down an elevator shaft. It's a crazy story, man. It really is.
Yeah, the whole story's in this book. I just finished this book like last week, the Glenn Hughes book. It was fucking insane. But they talked that whole story about these prostitutes, like bring the guy and he falls down the elevator shaft, and they were like almost all put in jail the whole time. They didn't know if they were going to get out of there. It was fucking really nuts. This book was amazing, though.
Yeah, that book is crazy. I mean, yeah, Glenn Hughes is just he's a freak of nature, because he's done more drugs than Keith Richards, and he sounds amazing still.
Yeah,
and still looks good for his age, you know.
Another wild thing about that DVD is the live show Rise Over Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Bolan broke his hand, and
Tommy Bolin. He fell asleep. Yeah, he fell asleep on his arm.
Yeah,
because he had shot so much heroin in it, and he couldn't. His left arm, his fret hand, he couldn't move his fingers, so all he could do was play bar chords. So all the guitar solos are done by John Lord on the keyboards. Just Dave Mustaine had a similar thing happen to him. Like 20 years ago, he fell asleep on his arm supposedly, and it was dead. And he says, "I can't play guitar anymore," and all that stuff. He had to go through physical therapy. But yeah, that's crazy, man. And Tommy Bolin he died like about 2 years later or something, and he was only something like 26 or so.
He died at Hollover Beach, a place that I hung out many, many times in my youth. It's on Miami Beach, a little central Miami Beach. It's he died on that beach. I was like, holy shit. Couldn't believe
Yeah,
This is a cool little box set for the CDs. It's 70 to 76. It's got 10 CDs in it. It's a good one for like Wayne to pick up some of the other ones
Yeah,
that, and it's
just
like
looking.
cheap.
Those are great to get the collections. They really are. Yeah.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah,
on
I wish
eBay.
they had one for like the 80s and the 90s because there's some of those that I'm missing that I would like to get in a set like this instead of having to buy them separately. And here's another weird little VHS. It's New, Live, and Rare, the video collection from 1984 to 2000.
I have that
VHS.
one on DVD. Yeah, that's got everything on it. I mean, that's got even got like the videos they made with Joe Lynn Turner and stuff, you know.
Oh, I
Talking
got
about
one
that.
more thing. It's it's one last thing. I think it's like the deepest purple one. It says when we rock, and when we roll. But I'm pretty sure it's like the same songs that are on the deepest purple. It's
It's the
another
one that
best of.
it's the one that Wayne. It doesn't have any. It didn't have any of the Coverdale stuff on it though, does it?
Yeah, it has Burn.
It does. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, like I said, Burn being one of my favorite, or actually being my favorite record. I think the song Burn, that is one of the greatest riffs ever in hard rock, period. It's just amazing riff.
And Ian Pace's drumming is incredible too. He's
God,
an
man.
underrated drummer.
No, the guy's a freak of nature. Every time I see Deep Purple, Ian Pace is like, God, he's playing just like he did when I saw him on the Perfect Strangers tour. He hasn't lost his step at all.
And Ian Pace is the only original member. He's been on every album. Yeah.
Yep. He's the only guy left, man.
Hmm.
And I gotta say, man,
He doesn't get the praise. He doesn't get the praise he deserves. You know, he should be mentioned with John Bonham and all them great.
I saw an interview with Rick Allen once, and they asked him, well, when did it really hit him when he was taking in that how big Def Leppard was getting. He said when one of my idols was the opening act on the tour, because Gary Moore opened the Pyromania tour, and Ian Pace was the drummer. You know, this is another great one. If you guys ever seen it, the California Jam.
Yeah, I have that.
That's the first show they played with the Mark III lineup with Coverdale and Hughes, 1974, and there's like 200,000 people there. And Coverdale is funny to watch because Coverdale is almost like a tree on stage. He doesn't move much. He's got a mic stand with a boom, and he just kind of goes up and sings. He's not like Mr. Use my microphone for a phallic symbol like he is, you know, in Whitesnake. He was still kind of green, you know, about being up on stage, but they were so good at that, man. Hughes is just on fire, man. I mean, the whole band is, and there's a story that goes about this where ABC TV was filming it, and Blackmore, they had in their contract that they don't go on before dusk, basically, because they wanted to use the lights. And Emerson, Lake and Palmer were the headliners. So things got a little bit ahead of schedule on the festival, and they were ready for Deep Purple to go on, and it was still daylight. So they made Richie Blackmore go hide, and like they couldn't find him or whatever. And when he finally comes out, he's pissed off. So he just tries to upstage Emerson, Lake and Palmer the whole rest of the show. And he does this guitar solo, and he's smashing his guitars, and he smashed his guitar into one of ABC's TV cameras, and they were going to press charges on him for that. And he told his roadie to push one of his amp stacks out, and he put some gas on it and make it blow up, make it on fire. And the guy like put way too much. And when you see it explodes. It's a freaking fireball. And Ian Pace said it blew his glasses off. He was playing drums. He said it blew. But if you watch it in slow motion, you can see it. And if you watch it frame by frame, it blows Blackmore across the stage. He looks like a ballerina skipping, and his hair is on fire for 1 second. And yeah, it's nuts, man. They said they had to put him in a road case and hide him because they were trying to arrest him. The cops were trying to arrest him after the show.
Yeah, you can totally tell that explosion pushed them toward the front of the stage.
Yeah, but yeah, Pacey said it blew his glasses off. That's just crazy, man. I mean, that's a lot of fucking force, just boom, across the stage, man. That's
and
nuts.
and another thing, how huge they were at that time. They had their own fucking Deep Purple plane. They had
Hmm.
a big old 747 Deep Purple written on it. They were at one point, I believe it was in '73, the biggest selling band of that year was Deep Purple. I think it was
It did,
70.
and it didn't matter that they changed lineups. People just
Oh,
didn't seem to care. They still, But I mean, Burn was a solid record, but everybody can't do that. But they did it, man. And then yeah, just amazing band. Just a lot of crazy stories, folklore. I read. Anybody count? Did you read Ian Gillan's book? Have either one of you guys read his book?
It's funny. I for my birthday last week, I just got Ian's book. I didn't read it yet. I finished the Glenn Hughes one, and I also got Richie Blackmore book,
I've read
and
the
I even got
Blackmore.
this
Yeah,
Martin Popoff Rainbow book. But all three of these I still have to read. I just got them.
I've got
I'm
several of
reading an
Martin's.
Immolation death metal
Martin's
book.
got several books that break down everything, like albums and all. It's pretty good. I've got, but man, in Ian Gillan's book, he talks about once after Deep Purple had been broken up for a while, he's had Gillan, Blackmore's had Rainbow. I guess it was around the time of when he got. I don't know. It might have been right around after Graham Bonnet, maybe. Um, but they hadn't spoken in years. And Gillan says Blackmore shows up at his doorstep one night. And he said that he opened the door and Blackmore backed away from the steps when he opened the door. And he's like, "What are you doing?" He goes, Blackmore said, "I thought you were going to punch me." And he invited him in and they, had some brews and talked. And he asked Ian Gillan to join Rainbow.
wow.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
wild. That would have been cool to get 1980 Ian Gillan and Rainbow, that voice.
Yeah.
That would
That
have
would have
been
been
fun.
it'd have been interesting. And then we probably would have never got Born Again. I mean, stuff like that just changes the whole
Yeah,
timeline
no,
of
hey
things.
man, as
Yeah.
long as we got Born Again, fuck Rainbow. That album is the shit.
Yeah.
There's
I
there's
love it.
there's this really cool interview with Blackmore where he says he wants to get a bunch of guys and go in an alleyway and beat the crap out of Ian Gillan while he watches a group of guys beat the fuck out of Ian Gillan. I want to get a group of guys to beat the fuck out of Ian Gillan, and I want to stand there and watch because
When was this?
this is an interview on YouTube. It's something.
Recent.
No,
When
I
you
ain't
did it?
recent. It's like
Oh.
maybe more than 10 years ago. But and then he said, "Yeah, I want to get a group of guys to kick his ass because I would never do that myself because Ian Gillan's a big guy and he would totally kick my ass. I want to get a group of guys to beat his ass."
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
there's
crazy.
a lot of, and then there were times where Gillan and Blackmore are the best of friends. In the
Yeah.
early days, they used to room together. It's just after Machine Head things started going south. But
Yeah, the same thing with Blackmore and Coverdale. They had a big falling out somewhere because I remember Coverdale telling a story about being somewhere like at some festival, and that Blackmore came by, like yanked his hair or something, and just like try to start something with him or whatever. But I don't know. David seems to speak very kindly of Blackmore now when you see him in interviews and stuff. I don't know if they ever patched things up or not. But when they were on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, everybody was there, of course, except Richie. Of course, Richie's not going to show up to that. And yeah, but that would have been interesting if he had. But Glenn Hughes said that everybody treated him strange at that event.
yeah, he
You know,
said
he
that
he
Gillan,
he said Gillan and Glover, everybody was kind of weird to him. Maybe except Pacey. Yeah, that's
yeah,
weird. I mean,
You know
I
what I
can
don't
understand
get?
it.
You know what I don't?
Go ahead.
I think it's weird is that when like Dio replaced Ozzy and Sabbath, people didn't start saying Mark II Sabbath. And then when Ian Gillan came in, they didn't go Mark III Sabbath. How come Deep Purple is the only band that gets that Mark I, Mark II? We talked about this with John McEntee from Incantation, was on the Rock Fantasy Files with us, and his band, he's had like 100 people. So after I bring that up, the Mark thing, I go, "Hey John, what Mark is Incantation up to right now?" He was just like, "Oh," he would have to sit there for an hour trying to figure it out.
He's probably like 32.
Mark, yeah. But nobody else gets that. Like you don't hear Van Halen, big gold Van Halen Mark II, when
Yeah.
Sammy Hagar came in.
Well, Sammy
Just
Hagar
weird.
it was Mark II, as in number 2. But yeah, you're right. I don't know anybody else that has done that. That was probably something cooped up from
Yeah,
either their
no
fan
one else
club,
is.
their fan club, or maybe even management started doing it or something. Man, it makes it sound kind of classy or something, I guess.
You know, a lot of people don't know this.
Yeah, I didn't know if you loved them.
In the mid '80s, Richie Blackmore, Nick Simpler, and Ian Pace formed a band, and they all wore hoods, and they went by the name the Mentors.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That's
Yeah.
Blackmore, that's Simpler, and that's Ian Pace.
Now Blackmore, back before he formed Rainbow, at one point, going back to this Funky Junction thing, he wanted to form a band with Phil Lynott for a little while. He wanted Phil Lynott to be in a band with him and Ian Pace. And I also had heard somewhere down the line he wanted to form a side project with Doug Pinnick from King's X.
And you know who else? Ozzy Osbourne. Richie Blackmore, more than one occasion, has said that Ozzy Osbourne has the perfect pop voice. He thinks Ozzy's the greatest singer in the pop category. And he wanted Ozzy to join Sabbath, ironically, after Dio. Like, imagine Ozzy replacing Dio? But, that was at the time.
Oh, you mean Rainbow? You want him to be in Rainbow?
They wanted to be in Rainbow. And this was around the time that he was getting Blizzard together.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
There's so much cross-pollination between Sabbath and Deep Purple.
That family tree,
that would have
man.
That would have been one more crazy one if something like that would have happened.
I have a Deep Purple family tree somewhere. It was in a magazine like Kerrang or something. And it was like big fold out, and it was just amazing to see all the offshoots and stuff. There's actually a really good BBC documentary you can probably find on YouTube called Rock Family Trees. It was a series on BBC TV, and they did one on Deep Purple. It was in the early '90s, but it's really good, and it goes through everything.
And there must be a big branch for Yngwie Malmsteen in the Deep Purple family tree. Graham Bonnet, Joe Lynn Turner. I know there's a couple more.
Bob Daisley.
Yeah. I know there's more. Cozy Powell.
Yeah.
There's Yngwie has a branch on that tree.
I was talking about the Slaves and Masters record. I've got that song that was on there they released as a single was King of Dreams. They had the music video for it. Yeah, I've got the Glenn Hughes and Joe Lynn Turner project together, the Hughes Turner project, and they did a live album, and they do a few Rainbow songs and Deep Purple songs, of course, in it, and they do King of Dreams in it, and it's great because the two of them together singing it, the hearing Glenn Hughes on the chorus. I mean, Glenn Hughes can sing anything, and it sounds amazing. It's crazy, man. Such a good singer, but Don Airey, being in Deep Purple, replacing John Lord when he passed. Well, before he passed, he actually replaced him when John wanted to retire. The last time I did see Deep Purple on that tour with Judas Priest, Don Airey does a keyboard solo in the set, and he's got a little bobblehead on his keyboard of Ozzy. And I'm like, he should always throw the Mr. Crowley intro into his solo because he played it on the album.
You know, he did, Tony. He did that the last time I saw Deep Purple.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad
I've
he's
seen
doing
him a
it.
couple times do it.
He played
Yeah,
it.
he did.
Mr. Crowley.
Yeah, the first time I saw him was on that Priest tour, and he didn't do it. I'm like, man, he should do that because everybody in this place knows that song. They might not know that he was the guy that played it originally, but I'm glad to know he's doing that now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
He should. And Deep Purple was another band that they were done. I mean, there was like, we're not doing any more albums. And then they come back with, Equals One. And it's such a strong record. And I think it's called Simon went in there and gave them a kick up the butt, man, that they needed. Because that dude plays he's more in the Blackmore wheelhouse than what Steve Morse was. Steve Morse had his own style. But man, yeah, Simon's come back and it just sounds like Blackmore's back. You know, it's so similar to what he would play.
It's amazing guitar. He has so many amazing guitar solos on that new album. And it was, seeing him with Deep Purple was mind blowing. They did like 5 songs off the new album. But then they did like Pictures of Home and, Lazy. They did some good choice cuts, but it was amazing. That guy is a fuck. And let me tell you, like that whole place, it's full of casuals that don't know shit about shit. They were all going crazy over this guitar player. Like when he would nail something, like when he would do this, the Highway Star solo and shit. People got into it, man.
Where did he come from? Who did he play with? Do you know?
Man, I know there was somebody he played with like a long time ago, though. Now I can't remember who. It's
somebody might pop in and tell us here in the chat.
I know it's somebody known, like, I don't know, in the 80s he did an album with them or something like that.
Was it a new wave of British metal band, I want to say, possibly? Or somebody that was kind of tied into that, maybe. I can't remember. Somebody out there might be able to tell us. But like I said, the dude's killer. And, yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Blackmore fan. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen, there's an interview that came out in the early 90s. He's got part of it's done with his wife Candace when they first put the Blackmore's Night together. But Richie's talking about his guitars, he's talking about how he wrote songs, and he's playing the riff to Black Knight, and he says, "Yeah, I ripped that off from Ricky Nelson in the Summertime." And they play the In the Summertime riff, and then you're like, okay, there it is. He changed a few things in it, and he said he ripped or he basically was inspired to write Lazy's riff from Stepping Out by the Cream. And you hear them, you're just like, wow, But I mean, everybody's inspired to write something from something. Something gives you an idea, But it was really cool. But he was talking about his guitars, and he's got a strap, and up on the headstock, he's got a strap button, like where you put your strap. It's up on the headstock, and he said, all this is a strap button. I just put it here for a conversation piece. And people would see it in magazine pictures and go, what is that? It must do something. It must be magical. That's a strap button. It's just, he's very humorous. He's very comical.
No, he's hysterical.
But dry, but it's just so dry, He
is hysterical. He that DVD came out, the Richie Blackmore story. It's like 2 hours of him talking.
Yeah.
And he said some funny shit like how he wanted to bash the guitar over Grant Bonnet's head at the show.
For cutting his hair. Yeah.
Yeah, because they had a guard Grant Bonnet for not going out, and Grant Bonnet went out the window. and another thing, talking about ripping off shit, they ripped off Child in Time. I forgot where I saw this, but they played the original piece. It was actually like a classical piece, but with like a Julie Andrews type singer on it. It's one of those Sound of Music type songs, but it has that dun 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 dun. I was like, holy shit! But yeah, Black Knight is beyond blatant, that riff.
Yeah.
They were not fucking sued for that.
Yeah, so many groups get hit up and sued over stuff, copyright, plagiarism, and stuff. Yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, Child in Time.
Simon McBride was in he was in Sweet Savage.
There you go.
That's it. Vivian Campbell's band.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's what it. So he must have tucked
96 and
Vivian.
98.
I wonder if he's on
And
that.
he played on and off with Don Airy and some other band called Snake Charmer. He's from Ireland. And he even
Kinda
in
Sweet
2019, before he was in Deep Purple, he played in a band with Ian Gillan and Don Airy band and orchestra.
Yeah,
Yeah, I knew he was in a band a long, long time ago.
I've got a Sweet Savage CD somewhere.
Yeah, Sweet Savage, you got like some compilation because Sweet Savage never released a full length.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. With this one came out in the '90s. It's called "Killing Time." I bet he's on this.
96
And there he is.
98.
And there he
96
is, Simon McBride. He's got long hair in the picture. Yeah, this was in the '90s. Wow, that's a trip. Yeah, yeah. Because they actually re-recorded a couple songs like "Killing Time" and stuff on there. Wow, that's a trip. We have learned something tonight. That's cool.
Very cool.
So if we ever get on Heavy Metal Jeopardy now and they ask us where Simon McBride came from, we'll know now. So yes.
Sweet Savage.
Yeah. I've got a Sweet Savage compilation, Ralph. It's got all the singles and stuff on it. It's not official. It's like a bootleg or whatever.
I'll tell anybody out there, you want to hear where James Hetfield got his voice? Listen to the Eye of the Storm from Sweet Savage. You listen to that song, you'll swear that's Metallica. Because that sounds exactly like what James Hetfield would sound like later. Because Metallica wasn't formed yet. Listen to Eye of the Storm, Sweet Savage, total James Hetfield, the original James Hetfield. So Wayne, what have you learned today, Wayne?
You learned that Simon McBride was in Sweet Savage.
Yeah. That's about it. I learned that I'm an idiot and I really need to listen to Deep Purple. 45 years old.
And it's so much to listen to, man. It's so much to it, man. It's like there's so much substance there,
Yeah, it's gonna be a long, long journey.
Great music.
The guy in the chat here, Wrath, he said he envies my journey into Deep Purple discography. He's 56 years old. He's been into them since he was 7 years old. That's a long time.
56. What a baby. Jailbait.
It's a long time. But I'll get to it.
I'm just like you, Wayne, though. If I see a band has a huge discography, I almost don't want to like it because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole and have to buy everything, It's like if you're too late with certain bands, you got to kind of just be like,
yeah.
Well, at least nowadays you can, you can go online and listen to the stuff if you wanted to and just say, oh, do I really want to get this or whatever, I mean, as I've had so many bands that I went down the rabbit hole with, back in the day before the intranets where you could, just had to go buy the stuff and get into it. And I guess that's why I've got, like so many CDs by certain bands, by odd bands too, not bands that's not as well known,
Yeah, when I saw last time I saw Deep Purple with Yes, I don't know jack shit about Yes. I only own that 90210 album because I love that song Changes.
Mm-hmm.
But Yes was so awesome live when I saw him over for Deep Purple. I did a deep dive. And, I haven't really gone through everything yet, but they have this one album. It's called Drama. I was like, I thought that was the best thing I ever heard from Yes. I even bought it. I found out later, Drama features two people that joined the band on that album and then left. Like two key people from Yes were replaced. Like John Anderson is not on that album.
That's the one with Trevor. Trevor, what's his name? From the Buggles.
From the Buggles.
That's the Mark IV. Yes.
That's a
Mark IV. Yeah. Yes, Mark IV. Yeah.
That's a great album. Awesome album. I love it.
Rome Like King asked, how about Tommy Bolin? Do you guys go into his solo collection? Tragic endings, a lot of music in a short time. Yeah, I've listened to the teaser record.
Yeah, I heard that one. I heard another one. It's all right. Motley Crue covered the song Teaser.
Yeah, he was in the James Gang for a little. He replaced Joe Walsh in the James Gang before he was in Deep Purple. But but no, I haven't gone down too much of the rabbit hole with him. I know I have a friend of mine. He's like big into him. They put a Tommy Bolin box set out. I remember like about 30 years ago. You could get on like cassette and CD and stuff. Yeah, I was just kind of going through the chat here and seeing. Yeah, Ian Pace is underrated. Nick Olson says for sure, probably one of the most underrated drummers out there, man. He's just so good.
They asked Lars Ulrich on Howard Stern, who's better, Neil Peart or John Bonham? I forgot who he picked out of two, but then he threw out, I got to bring up Ian Pace. Ian Pace, so, and I'm like, yeah, man, Ian Pace needs more love, man.
Yeah.
He's up there, man, with the Bill Wards and your John Bonham and Neil Peart. You can put Ian Pace right up there with them.
Yeah, amazing drummer. Yeah.
And Ricky,
I remember something like that with an interview with Yngwie from a long time ago, and they asked him something like Zeppelin or Sabbath, and he goes, "Oh, Deep Purple." To him, that was the band, was Deep Purple.
Yeah, Mick says he files slaves and masters with his Rainbow CDs, and that's I could see that because it is definitely the successor to Been Out of Shape for sure. Yeah. Ace Diamond says In Rock is his favorite. He likes Book of Talisman. Yeah, I didn't talk much about the early, so I do have those early records too. I haven't really delved into them that much. I like what I've listened to of them though. I think the third one, the self-titled Deep Purple one, is probably my favorite of the bunch. But they were doing a lot of covers back then on those as well.
Yeah. I know somebody that worked with Yngwie who's told me many, many stories of Yngwie. But I'll bring up two that's pretty bizarre. Well, one's bizarre. He said, Yngwie said to him, Kurt Hammett is an award-winning guitar player, the Special Olympics Award. That's the first thing Yngwie said. Yeah, now this one's bizarre. Yngwie claims Painkiller's Drum Machine.
I don't think so.
Not
I think
Scott
he's
Travis.
I think he's mixed up and thinking because Ram It Down. He's probably just confused.
Yep.
No, he said that Chris Tangier was his buddy and told him that's what happened.
That's Scott Travis playing.
There's no way.
Yeah. No way. Yeah.
I thought it was.
I'll take it from a drummer here. Wayne Newton says no way, and I believe Wayne. So.
I think it's Ricky Rocket.
There are some similarities, yes.
Hey, speaking of the early Deep Purple, Rod Evans. Rod Evans went on to be in this cool band called Captain of Beyond after he.
Yeah, that's good. That's
fucking great too. They made two. Great. I love that. I love that fucking album. That's
man. Great band.
Stuff. Yeah. God damn, that slipped my mind. I
went to Dancing Madly Backwards. God, this song is just kick ass. Yeah, I saw them a few years ago. It's just
what?
It was just a drummer. He carries the band now. His Bobby Caldwell, the original drummer, he carries the band, and it was just him with some new guys or whoever he's touring with now. But they were great, man. He was really cool.
Great 70s heavy, great.
I brought some records he signed. He was in a band called Armageddon with Keith Reff from the Yardbirds. I brought that record, and I had the Captain Beyond record with this, but it's the hologram picture on the front. And he was in Johnny Winter's band. Johnny Winter had a band called Johnny Winter and ... and that was the band he was in. Yeah, he was a really nice guy. Yeah, kick ass. Another kick ass band.
I love.
Hey, did you get? I was going to ask before we even started recording that. Did you guys get any new stuff this week?
Well, I got one thing.
I
got to tell you, it's a band I never liked, and now all of a sudden I like one of their albums, and I bought it. And I'll show you what band it is. A band I've never been into, but I heard this one album and I fell in love with it, so I bought it.
I hate when that happens. When you hate a band and then all of a sudden you like it. You said, man.
The name of the album is called Two Steps from the Move.
How We Rock. Yeah.
This album rocks, man. Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
That's the only album I own by them.
It's great. It's an awesome, awesome album. And I never liked this band. All of a sudden I hear this album, I'm like, fuck. My friend Chris turned me on to it. So I went and bought it, you know?
Yep.
That's the only thing I got that's new. Oh no, that's not true.
What else did you get?
It's my buddy from here on YouTube. His name is Joseph Manella. He sent me this, and I just came from my mom's house with this. Still rap. It's called Syndrome. You know them, Tony? Syndrome?
Nope, never heard of them. I've seen that I've seen it online.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna check it out.
Syndrome.
Yes.
They're fucking incredible. If
Right.
it's the same band that I remember from the underground in the '80s, they were like a real great demo band for a while.
Oh,
I think they
yeah,
had like
yeah.
one release.
Right here, it's like CD2 live from 1988. So chances
Yeah,
are,
they're fucking awesome. Syndrome is a great band.
Where are they from?
They're one of those bands that never got put out like by like a good label or anything. So they
Okay.
kind of just
well, they
at the
released
time.
this because Joseph Manella said he grew up with this band.
Is
And
it thrash, old school metal?
It's kind of like it kind of reminds me a little bit of like maybe Hallows Eve-ish kind of thrash.
Oh,
where it's not like
yeah,
full on thrash.
that's good.
If
That's
it's
interesting.
the same band that yeah, it's like I remember the band Primeval from up here. They kind of reminded me of Syndrome too. They had like it's like a weird heavy thrash sort of thing, you know, but really cool, really good vocals.
this has a
Unique.
live CD, a CD of theirs called Into the Halls of Extermination, and another one, Vault of the Inner Conscious. I'm pretty sure it's the same band you're talking about, dude. So yeah, after we're
If
done
I
with
could see the logo, hold it up. I can't really see it when you hold it.
let me show you. Let me get a close up of it.
Yeah, that's the logo. Yep, that's them. I've never seen that actually, like a CD like that. I
I
need to
think
get
this
that
is
myself.
this.
Who released it? Who released it, Ralph?
Let me see here. I can't make it out, man. My eyes are fucked. Even with glasses.
So it's not like High Roller or somebody like that. Right?
No.
So it's not like a well-known label or something yet. Yeah. What'd you get, Count? Did you get anything this week? I know you got some new books.
No. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just got a bunch of books and stuff. I got a couple other books I should pull out really quick. Wait.
Cool. You get anything, Wayne?
Yeah, I got a couple of things actually today. Killers on vinyl. I used to have this album, this jacket. My grandfather gave it to me, and I never had the record, so I bought the record today. Probably paid too much for it. But
If it doesn't have Blaze Bailey, fuck Iron Maiden.
that's right. And I grabbed the reissues of the Rat albums, Dancing Undercover and Invasion of Your Privacy.
Cool.
Got those today. And then
both
Gary,
great albums.
Gary from Heavy Metal Museum was getting rid of a lot of the vinyl that he had for like $20. So I grabbed a lot of stuff. Bewitcher. What the hell's the name of this album? Cursed by the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Cool band.
$20. I don't know what the hell this is going to sound like. Elvis. Danzig sings Elvis.
Oh, it's horrible.
Is it?
It's horrible.
I'm sure it is.
I couldn't
sure
even
it's
get
bad.
one song that catch me to go back to that album. It's fucking horrible.
I had to have it though, just to complete the collection. Dead Cosmonaut, Gravitas. This album's really, really good. Plasmatics. This is the only Plasmatics album I own. I can't even read what that says, but you guys know what this
Oh,
is.
Beyond the Valley.
Yeah.
I love that album.
Yeah,
I was at a
everything
record
by
shop
them
the
is
other day
great.
that actually had that used with several Plasmatics albums.
Blitzkrieg Theater of the Damned.
That's the new one.
Is it?
Yeah,
2021. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Brian Ross from Satan is the singer in that band.
Yep.
Yeah, he was in the band as well as Satan, of course.
Raven Wiped Out.
I have that.
Yeah, anniversary edition. That's very cool.
Gravedigger, The Forgotten Years.
Cool.
Dr. Living Dead, Demos After Death.
I'm a huge fan of that band.
Yeah, this band's really cool. If you like suicidal tendencies, you'll like
Does that have Revenge on John
Revenge on John. No, I don't see it. Nope.
Because they have a demo of Revenge on John. Actually like it more than the studio version, but the studio version is awesome too. They have a song called Revenge on John, which is about Die Hard 3. And it's fucking
cool.
it's awesome.
Awesome band. And Kiss Animalize. I haven't seen that on record in a while, so I just grabbed it. And then I got a bunch of AFI CDs. I got a bunch of AFI CDs in the mail from eBay, and they were all scratched. But I took them to the store today, and they're gonna fix them for me. So hopefully they'll be all right.
Resurface them. Yeah.
Yep.
What were you going to show, Count?
I got this book, Rotting Ways to Misery: The History of Finnish Death Metal. Looks like a cool one, all Finland bands.
Cool.
This one's a cool little one. It's a tribute to Judas Priest, Metal Gods, but it's like a graphic novel. It's got
all
cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And you could buy this right now from Decibel Magazine's website. It's only $5.
$5.
Wow.
And,
What?
yeah,
$5?
I bought it without even knowing what it was. I seen it. I was looking through because I was looking for the Immolation book. The death metal band Immolation put out this great book, and I couldn't find it. I had to go right to their website. And when I got on the website, I seen all these other books, and I was like, Judas Priest tribute for $5. I was like, I got to get that since it was so cheap. I mean, you can't even get a magazine for that cheap.
No.
And there's some really cool artwork in here. It's like the screaming for vengeance, eagle flying around, and the Italian, and
I need to get that.
it's really cool. For $5, it's in there right
That's
now.
not bad
And
at
then
all.
here's another cool one: Denim and Leather, The Rise and Fall of New Wave of British Heavy Metal.
I read that.
Pretty-
That's good. Yeah. I
Real
read
thick,
that.
pretty thick book.
Yeah.
And the Immolation's in my bathroom. That's my reading room.
I need audiobooks. I can't read. As soon as I open the book, I'm like asleep. It's the first sentence. I'm like, can't read. I can't read. That's
I got a shipment in from Heavy Metal Museum as well this week. I got this is a bootleg live CD. It's the last Ronnie James Dio Heaven and Hell show. It's the one
cool.
August 29th, 2009. It's the very last show. And
Atlantic
it's
City. Atlantic City, right?
Atlantic City, yep. And it's an audience recording, but just the whole significance of what it is, I had to have it's a double CD. I got you guys remember the band from the 80s called Mama's Boys?
Yep.
They did Mama I'm Coming Home. I mean, Mama We're All Crazy Now before Quiet Riot did it actually. This is their first album that came out. They've released all their stuff on CD, but their very first record, just titled Mama's Boys, that came out on Arista Records here in the US, has never been put out on CD officially, and it finally has come out. I've got it on vinyl. I've got all their stuff on vinyl, but I had to have this on CD, and it's remastered, and it comes with a bonus live CD. It's got live tracks. It's also got them doing it's got them doing the If the Kids Are United, the old Sham 69 song. I remember they had a music video for that back in the day. Very cool band from Ireland. Three brothers that just made good hard rock. And I got a couple of bootlegs, other bootlegs, and this is two Dokken CDs, Unchained the Demos. Don's looking really hot on the cover there.
Yeah,
or is that George? I don't know. But anyhow, it's all demos. From night starts out with CD one is actually 1979. The first 7-inch single they put out, Hard Luck Woman, A Broken Heart, and it's got different demos and live stuff. It's got George Lynch's band Exciter with an X, spelled with an X, not like the Canadian thrash band. But second disc is cool because it's got some demos from Tooth and Nail, and it's also, Don did that record Up From the Ashes after Dokken broke up. Don did that record. He had John Norum on guitar, Mickey D on drums, and Peter Baltes on bass. Well, originally, I never knew this, but originally they started working on that project. Glenn Hughes was doing an album with those same guys, which turned out to be John Norum's Face to Truth album, which I love. Well, they started recording these demos with Don, and this is the demos on here. Glenn Hughes on vocals, Don supposedly on like backing vocals or whatever, maybe playing some rhythm guitar or something. But I'd never heard these. All of it's on YouTube, but I don't go look up all that stuff on YouTube. But it's cool to have all this stuff in a collection like this. And then I got a Van Halen show from the Diver Down tour. This is from Worcester, Massachusetts, October 24th, 1982, an uncirculated soundboard recording. And when I saw the songs on, I was like, I got to get this, because they actually do Where All the Good Times Gone and Hang 'em High. They do a bunch of stuff from Diver Down here. They're doing Full Bug. They do Cathedral and the Secrets. And I had some of that on some bootlegs today, but I didn't have Where Have All the Good Times Gone played live. And the good thing is this is all on one CD. And if you're familiar with Van Halen Live with Roth and the Van Halen bootlegs that are out, they can take up to 5 minutes between songs sometimes, because it's just Roth standing there like this with the crowd going nuts, and he's just pointing his hand or whatever. All that's been edited out, so it's no bullshit. It's just all the songs, and it's all fits on one disc. And that'll definitely be one I'll be playing a lot. And lastly, I got this. This is the original Candlemass when they were called Nemesis. This is the original, the Tales of Creation.
Oh man,
demo, the Tales of Creation demos. So John Gaffney over at Larry the Alchemist was nice enough to get this for me. He was on Monsters of Rock cruise, and he was hanging out with Leif Edling. He's friends with the Candlemass guys, and Leif. He sent us a message and said to the guy, we do that Dudes Talking Metal podcast. He says, hey, Leif's got 3 copies. He don't want to take them back to Sweden with him. Do you guys want them? And he told us what they cost. I think like $30 or something. And he said, I said, yeah, I'll take one. And each one of us got one. And it's got a booklet in it that has all Leif's original handwritten lyrics. And this is the original version of Tales of Creation, the demos. It's only 5 songs, but it's got like Under the Oak and Dark Reflections, and they're different. Under the Oak kind of sounds the same, but they're different than what you're used to hearing. But it's really cool. It's something that he came up with, the original version from 1984, and he was even cool enough to autograph it for us. So I got it autographed, and that cool. Was really cool, man. Cool piece. I saw this online, and I was wondering what it was, because it said Tales of Creation, but it said Nemesis, and I didn't really look into it. But then when it popped up, I was like, oh, that must be what that is. So I was glad I got it, because it's a good piece for the Candlemass collection for sure.
That is an awesome piece to have. I love Candlemass.
Yeah, me too. They're doing one show in Stockholm, I guess, with Messiah on vocals. I'm sure they'll record it and put it out as a live album. They put a new live album out every year. I just got the audio for they did the whole Epicus album live, and then they did the whole Nightfall album live.
I saw the whole Epicus album live on the 70 Tons of Metal with the original singer.
Yeah. He's with them now. Yeah, he was with them at Hell's Heroes when I saw him, man. That was really cool.
What was weird was they played one set with him, and then the next set they played a couple of days later was with a different singer, like their new singer. But they had the original guy there doing Epic.
How long ago was that?
2000, either it was 2011 or 2012, one of the two.
Okay. Yeah, that was around the time I think when Matt Slevin had just come in. The guy with curly hair.
Yeah.
Was the other thing. Yeah, he'd been with Yngwie and stuff before as well. He was with them when I saw him at Maryland Death Fest that year. That's who was with them. And he's in Vandenberg now. He's the guy that tours with Adrian Vandenberg. He's very, very Coverdale like vocally. But he did a great job with Candlemass. Anything that guy sings in, he does a great job at it. It's just good singer.
Yeah, I love me some Candlemass, man. Well,
a couple of weeks ago, me and Steve Keeler did a interview with a band, Avatarium, and Leif Edling started that band. as like a side project from Candlemass, and he's on the first couple albums, and then he helped write songs even when Candlemass picked up. He didn't have time for it, but he still helped write songs for him and stuff. But we did an interview with the singer and guitar player. They got a female fronted band. They just put out a brand new album.
What's the name of the band?
Doomy. Avatarium is the name of the band, and female fronted. They just put out a brand new album.
Ooh.
And
Yeah,
the couple is married. The guitar player and the guitar players filled in. Actually, the guitar player filled in on 70 Tons of Metal. Probably the show that you've seen, actually, Ralph, because he only filled in for like that show. Maybe a couple other times he filled in when they needed a guitar player to fill in, but they have like a tight connection with Candlemass.
Killer, great band. Yep, I'll have to look into that. Sounds very interesting.
I'm surprised you haven't heard of them.
Doom with female.
They've been around quite a while.
Band with female. You know them, Wayne?
Yeah, yep, yeah. Because I remember when Candlemass kind of like disappeared, that he started that band up. So yeah, I never really got into them, but I know who they are.
Oh, Wayne, and the new videos kick ass, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was fun. I wish I didn't look so bored in it, but it was fun.
Yeah, you look bored in it, man.
I do. I look bored in everything I do.
Yeah, man. So when's the new album coming out?
March 28th on No Life to Metal Records, and it's actually being sold in Best Buy, Target, Walmart, and NoLifeToMetalRecords.com, and our website. It's being sold everywhere. It's really cool. So,
where's there a Best Buy that still sells CDs?
Well, you got to go to BestBuy.com. Don't go to the store. Don't go to the store asking where the new Seventh Angel album is, because they will not.
Best Buy and Walmart. I mean, I don't know if they still do.
Walmart still has CDs, but they have records.
Walmart still, Target still has a few. Yeah.
Best Buy and Walmart both were carrying the Thrash and Ice CDs.
Really?
Yeah, for years. I don't know if it's still there, but it was up there for years.
That's interesting. But yeah, they're selling records, so if we sell enough of these CDs, maybe they'll make a record of the album. They said so. Hopefully, everybody buys all the CDs up, and then we can get a record.
Put a link in our chat. The link where you guys get the money. I'm not giving my money to the man.
Oh, that's okay. But I'll Severed Angel.
Just on the thing. I ain't gonna.
And can't. Well, I'm gonna put it in this chat too. .com. There.
Well, everybody, it's been a very exciting episode. Did you guys have fun like I did?
Of course,
I did. And I hope we make somebody go out and look into Deep Purple that might not be a Deep Purple fan.
Listen to that last one. Quite good. Equal one. And next week we're gonna hopefully have a special guest.
Yep. Next week we're gonna have Adam from the band Savage Master here, and he'll be talking about their new album that's coming out next month, and they got a tour. They just announced a European tour, and hopefully they'll be doing some US dates. He'll be filling this in, and so that'll be cool. That'll be next Thursday.
Boy, I dig me some Savage Master, and I heard the new song. It was great, man.
Well, I sent you. He sent me the files. I sent them to our thread, so check them out. I think their new album, their debut's always been my favorite, but I think the new one's gonna almost rival it, because it's really good. It's definitely their most melodic record, but that's not saying that it's soft. I'm just saying it's more melodic, but it's still a kick-ass record. I mean, it's old school Metal Blade type, like 80s style Metal Blade type bands, like, bands that were around back then, like Savage Grace and Bitch and stuff like that, man. Thrust and all those bands like that.
What number album is this new album? How many do they have?
Wow, I think 5 or 6.
It's that many? I thought it was only like maybe the third one or 4.
Well, they got an EP too. So it's probably 5. It's probably 5 because they had an EP as well. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
So cool. That'll be next Thursday here on Almost Human Live. I want to thank everybody that joined in. I hope I see you all next week. And then the week after that, we may be doing the 7-inch episode.
7 inches, baby.
Yeah, 7 inch. Unfortunately, you know, mine is like fucking tiny. It sucks. I need tweezers and a fucking magnifying glass to see my Willie. I always say that, so when the girls finally see it, they're like, "Oh my god, I thought you told me it was small."
Is it like a button on a fur coat?
It's like a belly button, but like an any belly button, you know, goes inward. Kind of like that.
Any outie.
Anyway, thank you all. Y'all rule, and thank you, Ralphus, Wayne, and Tony. Till next week, schnack-a-macabre.
Goodbye.
Mentors. That's Richie Blackmore.
And get yourself a deep purple koozie.
Yeah.
I've got one. I forgot. I should have dug that out for tonight. I've got one like you've got there, Ralph. It's black. My friend got it. He saw him on tour on this last tour, and he brought it to me. It's somewhere in here. We've got a massive koozie collection in here somewhere.
Yeah, I always go for the cheap thing like that on the table. I got like this album bag that too at the last show, and then I always find the bootleg shirt in the parking lot because those big venues, the fucking shirts are $50-$60.
Man, I was working a show that tour that we talked about. We saw Deep Purple, Scorpions, and Dio. I was working a gig, and this guy, truck driver guy, we started talking, and he said, I told him they call me Dio. He goes, Dio. He goes, yeah. He said I worked the show with it was Scorpions, Dio, and Deep Purple. He goes, matter of fact, I got a shirt. I'll give it to you. And he said, I've never worn it. And he pulls it out, and it was like I knew immediately that it was a bootleg parking lot shirt. So the pictures on the front, it's got each band logo, and it's got a picture of the band above the logo, like a current picture of the band. So you got Scorpions, a picture of the band. You got a picture of Dio over top of the Dio logo. It's got the DP, like all Perfect Strangers, but the picture of the band is Richie Blackmore's Rainbow from Stranger in Us All era with Doogie White.
Oh my God.
And I was like, this is awesome. And a friend of mine is a big Blackmore collector and fan, so I ended up giving it to him. Like, I was like, man, he kept saying that is the coolest thing I ever seen. So he always hooking me up with stuff. So I gave it to him, you know. But yeah, it was funny.
Well,
You know,
I have like a Judas Priest one or something that has like KK on the back when he wasn't on the album or the tour or whatever.
I remember
They do
the
that
Van
shit
Halen
sometimes.
tour, the first Van Halen tour back with Roth in what was it, 07 or whatever. And the bootleg shirt that they were selling in the parking lot had Michael Anthony in the picture.
I thought you were gonna say Sammy Hagar was on the picture.
No, it was Michael Anthony. They had Roth. They got that part right. Yeah, they're always it's no telling.
I got a Led Zeppelin shirt, but it's Greta Van Fleet on that's a lie. Anyway, that was some bonus material from Tony and Ralphus, man. Now we're gonna think it now.
Oh,
Oh, we're already gone.
No,
I thought we were right.